Are you ready? I am ready. Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So today, I'm pulling out my Bonkers game to play TBR Bonkers for the month of February. I did not play this in January because I participated in TBR-a-thon hosted by Leandra at the TBR Zero. But this month, I'm going to play my own game. And if you've never seen me play TBR Bonkers before, I'm going to go very quickly over kind of how it works. So we have the start spot down here, and basically we just make our way around the board to get back to this spot. Okay, for prompts, I have these little cards that are randomly placed on each spot on the board. Colors mean nothing. I was just using up paper. There are prompts on certain ones, and then certain ones tell me to move forward or move backwards. Then there is a lose spot. When I land on the lose spot, I have to draw one of the lose cards. And I will tell you, the lose cards can be a challenge, or they can be nice every once in a while. Lose is not always bad. And what else? Oh, to move, I use 2 dice from my Phase 10 dice game. 1 dice, why did I pick up the board? 1 dice has numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a W for wild, which means nothing for me. So if that comes up, that's nothing. Then the other dice has from 5 all the way to 10. Make sure that's the highest number. So the highest number I can get between the 2 dice is 14. Yes. So 14. Or the lowest number I can get, this one is a 5 and this one is a 1, so is a 6. So I can move anywhere from 6 spots to 14 spots. That kind of gives me a nice average number of books per month if I don't land on the lose spot, depending on the lose card. So that is what I decided to do. Okay, and this year I have 25 books, which are my 25 to read in 25. But my BFF did cards for them. So one side has a book cover, the back has a scratch off spot. When I finish reading the book, I can scratch off the spot and reveal the number that is hidden behind the scratch off to know where it goes on my bingo board. And once I create a line on this board, then I get to draw a reward. And the rewards are either like fun rewards that are part of the game, or just really fun rewards like I get to buy a book. Or something, different rewards like that. So, at the beginning of each month, when I play my TBR Bonkers game, I am going to take whatever books I finished of these ones. So here's what I finished in January. And I'm going to scratch off and place them on the board. So we will do that at the beginning. That's assuming I have one of these books to scratch each month. It'll be at the beginning of each TBR's Bonkers game. This month was good so far. Can I keep it up? Can I get all 25 read before the end of the year? We'll see what happens. Okay, so let's go over to the overhead. Let's do the scratch off, and then we'll start playing. Okay, so I finished With Every Letter by Sarah Sundin, and I finished The Edge of Belonging by Amanda Cox. Both of these books I talk about in my mid-month wrap-up, so I will link that below. You can go back and hear my thoughts. They were both really good. So let's start with scratching them. So we got number 14, for The Edge of Longing. And number 6, 4, With Every Letter. Would it be nice if they were in the same line somewhere, right? Oh well. Okay, so we have placed those two on the board, and I forgot to mention I am currently reading Sins of the Past collection, which is another one of these books, but I have not finished it yet. I am filming this early so that I have time to edit before posting. So if I happen to finish this before the end of the month, I will insert a clip of me scratching and placing the cover on here. If not, it will be on February's. Okay, so for February, what do I want to get onto this TBR? The only readathon that I plan on participating in is the mini deck of TBR-a-thon that is being hosted by Becca and Chloe at Always Booked. So I will leave their channels linked below along with the announcement video, but that is a week-long readathon that takes place from the 17th to the 23rd, I want to say. But it is one of those you draw a card as you go and get a prompt. So I don't know yet because obviously I haven't drawn a card for that. So I'm hoping for a smaller TBR for my game so that I have the books pretty much read and then I can just play theirs as I draw the card. We'll see what happens there. Then for my monthly reading challenge, my February prompt is a favorite author. Well, that I think is going to be fairly simple because I'm trying to read my favorite authors to 0. So I have a list of 11 authors that I'm trying to read to 0. So as long as I pick one of their books, I think so. Then the only other one that I kind of want to keep in my back of my mind, no, the other two I want to keep in the back of my mind, is I'm doing the Go With The Flow readathon that is being hosted by Sarah's Nightstand and Bookish Blonde. And January's prompt is, or was, a favorite color on the cover. My favorite color is gray. And I love gray. So the only book I read in January that had gray on the cover is Then Came You by Becky Wade. And February's prompt goes off of this book, and it is an author with the same last initial. So that means I need an author with a W. It could be another Becky Wade book or another author. However, I need to keep in mind that March's book needs to have a title that is half the amount of letters, which means I want February's book to be a long title, because if it's a short title and I have to go even shorter on March's, that's going to be really difficult. So that's kind of in the back of my mind. Then the other book that I want to get onto the TBR is Anne of Avonlea, which is book 2 in the Anne of Green Gables series because I'm doing the Year of Maud with Chantal. And that is the book for the month. So those are kind of the two books for sure that one book for sure and the other ones I'm kind of thinking of and trying to get a book to fit. Okay, so let's start building the TBR with rule number 1. So we have a 5 and a 2, so 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And our prompt is series wheel. Okay, so I have a list of all the series that I am either currently reading, like in the middle of, or a series that are on my 25 and 25 to start this year. So I have a total of 45 series on this list. Now, there are series on this list that the next book is not out yet. So if I land on that, I'll have to respin. Okay, so we're going to do it this way instead of me trying to do a split screen. Okay, so there are 45 series on here. Right now they're sorted alphabetically so that I could see. So let's randomize them. Shuffle. Shuffle. Okay. Now, let's spin. Are you kidding? Wow. Okay. So it came up with All Creatures Great and Small, so I need to read the next book in that series. Okay, so for the first book, I don't know how I feel about this. Well, I sort of do know how I feel about this. So my first prompt is series wheel. So I spun the wheel and I had to read the next book in the All Creatures Great and Small series. And that is book number 5, Vets Might Fly. Yes. And it was like, I just read 2 of these in January. I was kind of hoping for a little bit of a break. However, number 7 is one of my 25 and 25, thanks to my lovely husband for picking book number 7 when I was only caught up to 2 at the beginning of the year. So, I mean, I'm making progress. This is number 5, so slowly but surely I will get there. It's looking like I will get there. Okay, so it is nonfiction based on the life of James Herriott. And now in the last one, he had just gone off to report for service in the war as a pilot. And based on the title, I'm guessing that's what this one's going to be about. Okay, let's go for roll number 2. A 5 and the W means nothing. These aren't very big numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. Series complete means I get to choose. Okay, so I landed on a score complete, and that is a free pick. So I have chosen Anne of Avonlea by L.M. Montgomery. This is book 2 of the Anne of Green Gables series, and it is the book that I need to read in February to participate in Chantal's Year of Maud. So that is the one that's going to be. Can we get a bigger number this time? Nine and a 2. That makes 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And the prompt is back 4. So much for a big number there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the prompt is Goodreads random pick. Okay, so we're back to the tablet. I don't know how well this is going to show up for you, but I'm logged into my Goodreads. And on the bottom here, I'm going to select random. And I'm on my owned list. Okay, so that top book is The Marriage Wish. Look what book number 2 is, Anne of Avonlea. That's what I just added. Okay, The Marriage Wish. So I got Goodreads random pick. I pulled up my Goodreads, let it randomize my owned TBR, and it came up with The Marriage Wish by D. Henderson. This is an old book. 1998. Old. Okay, it's not that old. It's not a classic yet, but yes. I don't really know anything about this book other than it's a D. Henderson I've never read. And it's probably the only D. Henderson I've never read. I'll have to look. Successful, blessed with friends and a rich faith. As Scott Williams' 38th birthday dawned, he was at the top of his game, or was he? Although his life seemed perfect to others, Scott felt that something was missing. But how could a rugged executive admit he yearned for a family of his own to love? After making a birthday wish to meet the woman of his dreams, Scott encountered enchanting author Jennifer St. James strolling along the beach. Her beautiful looks hid a heart mourning her late husband and a faith once deep, now fragile. Would Scott's hopes and prayers bring fulfillment for both of their dreams? So I pretty much know nothing about this book, but this is the one that I'm going to read. Okay. We got a 7 and a 1, so that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the prompt is, forward 9 spots. That's much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the prompt is a NetGalley book. Okay, so the next prompt was NetGalley, and I currently only have one book on NetGalley, so that limited my choices. And that book is An Overdue Match by Sarah Monzon. This book releases February the 18th. It is a contemporary romance. It is book number 1 of her Checking Out Love series, and it says, if the covers of every romance book ever published hadn't convinced librarian Evangeline Kelly that she isn't heroine material, her fiance calling off their wedding when she lost her hair to alopecia? I don't know how to say that, did. But what's a girl head over heels for love to do when her feelings are unrequited? Matchmake, that's what. Armed with library patrons' checkout histories, she's determined to make at least one love connection, even if it's not her own. Now there is another paragraph, but I'm not going to read that. So, yes. Okay, and I need to read this in February, so that is perfect. Now let's go with the next roll. Okay, next roll. We got a 5 and a 2, so 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that did not work in my favor. Go back 15 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that prompt is pick 2 books, any choice. Sorry, there we go. Pick 2 books, any choice. Okay, so we got pick 2 books, any choice. Doesn't my game know I play a TBR because I'm not a very good mood reader random choice? But, okay, I decided to choose Twilight and Mornington Cross by Abigail Wilson because the last name starts with W and it's a nice long title, so it will make March's prompt much easier. Okay. I did read one book by Abigail Wilson this month, which was the first time I'd ever read her, and I did enjoy the book, so I thought, let's give it another one a try. And it says, Amelia Pembroke is in a unique position in Regency, England. She has the option to obtain financial freedom, but in order to do so, she must marry one of 2 gentlemen. The trouble is, she might be falling in love with another man entirely. Ooh, what's going to happen? So that is going to be book number 1. And then book number 2 is going to be Love on the Mend by Karen Witemeyer. Yes, it's also a W author, so I could use this title as well, but it's not as long. And it is one of the novellas I need to read to get Karen Witemeyer read to 0, so that is why. And it's February, month of love. This book just seemed to fit. And it says, after serving as a doctor during war between the states, Jacob Sadler wants nothing more than to establish a country practice in rural Texas, but he knows he'll never find peace until he buries the pain of his past. To that end, he accepts a job in Cold Spring, Texas, the town he's avoided for 17 years, and discovers his past is definitely still alive and kicking. I don't know, and I'm pretty sure I can get this one through my library. I'm pretty sure. I hope so. But, okay, so those are the next 2 books I've added to the list. And now that we're like back to the middle of the board instead of close to the end, let's see what happens. Next roll. A 4 and a 5. That is a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this one is set in the United States. This almost felt too broad of a category. The prompt is set in the United States, and I could go with one that has a state in the title. Love Finds You in Miracle, Kentucky. Looks like it's kind of a summer, spring setting, maybe. Should I read it in February? Other than it's Love Finds You, so it's love focused. This is one of my 25. Or I could do A Life Once Dreamed by Rachel Fordham, which is also one of my 25 and 25 to read. This one is set in the Dakota Territories. Or I could start a new series, which is also one of my 25 and 25, and that is Never Fall Again by Elaine Blackburn. This is book 1 of the Gossamer Falls series, and book 2 comes out in April, I want to say, or March maybe? Yeah. So possibility there. Or I could finish a series and do Dawn's Light by Terri Blackstock, which is book number 4 of the Restoration series, and this one is set in Alabama. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So 3 of these, or like one of these 3 would get another square marked on my 25 and 25. But it would be nice to finish the series when I only have 1 book left of the series to read. What do I do? What do I do? Right now I have historical, nonfiction, and a contemporary romance. I'm assuming it's a contemporary romance, so do I go with another contemporary romance, a historical, romantic suspense, or kind of mystery suspense? I don't really want to start a series yet, because when I read Never Fall Again, I want to read Break My Fall, which is book 2, right after. So I'm going to put that one aside for now. I really want to read Rachel Fordham. It's kind of where I'm leaning, but I've owned this forever. And I really should get it read soon, but should I wait till it's a little bit nicer out? Or do I go completely different and do Dawn's Light? I think I'm going to finish the series. I'm going to read Dawn's Light by Terri Blackstock. As I said, this is book 4 of the Restoration series. So in book 1, all the power went out and the people are learning to live off the grid, and kind of what that all entails and how people react differently to it. And I'm hoping power is restored in this one. We'll see what happens. I don't know. How many more books is the game going to add? Okay. Can we get past that 15 spot and not land on that loose spot? I'd like to get to the end. And we have a 7 and a W. So we're moving 7 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the prompt is a prompt from Katie's yearly TBR challenge. The prompt I got was a prompt from Katie's yearly challenge. So Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails has the Princess Bride-a-thon this year. So there are 16 prompts, and then this is where I'm going to put the covers. I've already filled in some. Probably can barely see that. They're in pencil right now. So it was, okay, what prompt do I want to fulfill? And I decided, let's just start at the beginning. After much thinking, this is what I decided to do. And the first one is Princess Buttercup, red on the cover. So I have chosen The Red Ribbon by Pepper Basham. Not only does it have red on the cover, but it also has the word red on the cover and in the title. It is part of the True Colors series. This is a series that does not need to be read in order. And I'm going to borrow it from the library. And it says, an Appalachian feud blows up in 1912. In Carroll County, a corn shucking is a social event of the season until a mischievous kiss leads to one of the biggest tragedies in Virginia history. Ava isn't your typical Blue Ridge Mountain girl. She has a bad habit of courting trouble, and her curiosity has opened a rift in the middle of a feud between politicians and would-be outlaws, the Allen family. Ava's desire to find a story worth reporting may land her and her best friend Jeremiah into more trouble than either of them planned. The end result? The Hillsville Courthouse Massacre of 1912. I know nothing about this time in history, so this could be interesting. I'm sure it will be interesting. I really enjoyed the one True Colors story I've read so far. There it is, The Gold Digger. So I want to read more. This is going to be the one. Okay, can I please make it to the end of the board? Let's see what happens. Will this be the final roll? 8 and a 1, so that's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm 2 spots. Five plus word title. Okay, so the prompt I got was a 5 plus word title, and I don't have very many books that have long titles, so I have chosen The Burning of Rosemont Abbey by Naomi Stevens. This was recommended by Bethany from Bethany Brings Books, and she just raved about this book, and we've had very similar taste on current historical fiction. So I want to read this one, and it is available at my library. And it says, in the sleepy post-war English village of Wilbeth Green, everyone believes Paul Everley burned Rosemont Abbey, then disappeared. Only his twin sister Louisa is certain of his innocence. With the aid of Inspector Malcolm Sinclair, Louisa will stop at nothing to clear her brother's name and solve a murder no one else believes was committed. It just sounds really good, and she really raved about this book. So this is the one I'm going to read. Okay, we are going to get to the end for sure this time because I can't roll less than a 2. We're at the end. We're going to make it official. Roll. Of course, now we had a big number. So 10 and 1 is 11. 1, 2. Now that we're at the end, we need to pull up my TBR bingo board. Okay, so here is the 22 books that are left on my bingo board. I've taken off the 2 that I read in January and the 1 that I am currently reading. They are randomly shuffled, and let's spin and see what book we get. Are you kidding? I'm not doing it. I'm respinning because I'm not even there yet, and I already have. So this is part of the All Creatures Great and Small series. We're respinning. We're respinning. I don't even have words. The Italian Ballerina. Okay, so the TBR wheel chose The Lord God Made 'Em All twice, which is book number 7 of the All Creatures Great and Small series. I have 5 on this TBR, so I am not adding 6 and 7 on this TBR. I'm just not doing it. So I respun and I ended up with The Italian Ballerina by Kristy Cambron. So this one says, at the height of the Nazi occupation of Rome, an unlikely band of heroes comes together to save innocent lives in this breathtaking World War II novel based on real historical events. And then it says Rome, 1943, and then it says present day. So looks like it's a dual timeline. We'll see. I've read a couple other books by this author. One of them I really enjoyed, which was The British Booksellers, just last year. So hopefully, and it's one of my 25 and 25, which is my wheel. Okay, what else am I reading? This is not as small TBR as I was hoping. Physically, I have Vets Might Fly, which is book number 5 of the All Creatures Great and Small series. I have book number 2 of the Anne of Green Gables series, Anne of Avonlea. I have The Marriage Wish by D. Henderson. I have Twilight at Moorington Cross by Abigail Wilson. I have Dawn's Light by Terri Blackstock, which is book 4 of the Restoration series. I have The Italian Ballerina by Kristy Cambron, which is a standalone. And then the books that I do not own are An Overdue Match by Sarah Monzon, Love on the Mend by Karen Witemeyer, The Red Ribbon by Pepper Basham, and The Burning of Rosemont Abbey by Naomi Stevens. So that is 10 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books. It seems like more when I look at like what I have physically and what I need to get or on my Kindle. Wow. Okay, but some of them are smaller, so we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be a busy month again. Can I get them all done? Come back for my month wrap up and you will find out how I do. I am popping in to say I finished the Sins of the Past novella collection by D. Henderson, Danny Petrie, and Lynette Eason. So that means I can scratch the back. So let's do that. And we have an 11. Kind of doesn't look like an 11. It is an 11. Which goes here. Look at that. I lined up this one and I lined up this one. Can I find these 3 books or these 3 books to finish? We'll see how it goes. I want to thank you for watching this video today, and if you have stuck around the whole video, I would love it if you would put, I don't know, I want to say a spinner wheel, but I don't know if there's a spinner wheel emoji. So any type of wheel emoji that you can find, add that in the comments. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.